Family Church.
Hi, Gracie. Good to see you.
Hi, Grandpa.
How was school this week?
Okay.
Just okay? You love school. Usually you have a lot more to say about it. You all right? You seem a little down.
I was just watching the news.
That'll do it. Were you watching something about inflation and the rising cost of gasoline?
No.
Was it about how the country has become so divided and no one can agree on anything?
No, it wasn't that either.
Isn't the war in Ukraine, is it?
Yeah, that's it. I've been reading a lot about it, and I'm really worried.
I don't think Russia's going to invade Nina anytime soon.
I know that, but I'm worried about all the suffering. Before COVID, we used to have lessons with a class of kids in Odessa.
Huh? How'd you do that?
It was all on the computer. Their teacher would teach us stuff, our teacher would teach them stuff, and we would record questions for each other. I even kept in touch with one of the girls. Her name is Daniela.
Back in my day, I had a pen pal in Siam.
Siam? Oh, you mean Thailand. They changed Siam to Thailand, and I think that was before World War II.
Well, we had pretty old textbooks in Nina High School. I think Chester Alan Arthur was president when our history books were printed.
Who?
Exactly.
Well, I'm worried about Daniela. She has a brother who is only 4, and her dad's in the army.
Wow, that is scary. Back when the war in Vietnam started, we all thought it was a million miles away and not our problem. But then, all of a sudden, there was a lottery, and they were sending a lot of my friends over there to fight.
Did you have to go?
No, I thought about joining because a lot of my uncles fought in World War II and Korea, but my number never came up.
Wow, so you just got lucky.
I guess. I still feel bad sometimes. Those guys lost a lot while I was safe at home.
The Vietnam War was a long time ago. Do you still feel bad now?
Sure I do. Some of my friends are still living with their pain and injuries, and some of them never made it back.
Will I still be worried about Ukraine when I'm your age?
Maybe. You've always had an empathetic soul. You care a lot about what happens to other people. That's a blessing, Gracie.
I guess. But sometimes I think Billy has it easy. All he worries about is candy.
Well, he cares about you and his family. I bet he's worried about the people in Ukraine too. You should talk to him about it.
What difference does that make?
Well, we should all care, and talking about it with other people helps a little bit. It's good for us to be worried. Also feels good to help instead of just worrying.
I do like to help people out. I don't know how to help Daniela though.
Well, have you tried mailing her an email? Or how about Insta-Who's it?
She doesn't have a phone, but I can try email, I guess.
I couldn't do anything for the guys who went to Vietnam except listen to their stories when they got back. But I think that helped a lot of them. I also tried to help other people who needed help. Maybe you can go on that church mission trip.
I will. It will be nice to help people in need. Thanks, Grandpa.
And we can keep talking about it if you like. I think that's one of the things that really helped my buddies. Maybe we should plan on you coming over here to talk more often.
Sure, I'd like that.
I can even buy donuts.
If you buy donuts, then Billy will want to come too.
Okay, I'll buy broccoli.
Deal. See you next week.
Bye, Gracie.
Today's scripture reading is from Matthew chapter 5, verse 4.
Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted.
Our Beatitude this week is, Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. We're doing Beatitudes each week during Lent. That's our theme for today. We usually think of the word mourn as having to do with losing someone we love. Then we go into a period of mourning and maybe have a funeral or memorial service. Scholars think that our verse today, though, isn't about the normal cycle of living and dying. They think it has to do with mourning what's wrong with the world and what happens to others. Now, some people have a lot of empathy. They deeply feel it when bad things happen. We usually think of these people as being really good people, caring people. It can also be a burden, though. It's a lot to feel deeply everything that happens to everybody else. The past couple of years have been difficult on people who deeply mourn the loss of everything. People who mourn the loss of life from COVID, who mourn the racial inequality in our society, who mourn when an LGBTQ person dies by their own hand. No matter your age, we've all seen tragedy. Whether you remember the Vietnam War, 9/11, the Great Tsunami of 2004, or Hurricane Katrina, we've all seen painful news footage of people suffering. If you've never read one of the many books written by Holocaust survivors, I would recommend it. We actually have a survivor who lived right here in Appleton for much of his life. His name is Henry Gold, Golde, and you can get his book from the library in Appleton. I think it's important that we remember these stories and go to the Holocaust Museum or read books like that and remember the realities of genocide and hate so we don't repeat those mistakes. You know, there have actually been people claiming that the Holocaust never happened. They're trying to get us ready to try something like that again. It's hard to read books like that, books about tragedies, or to watch new tragedies unfold. When you feel it deeply yourself, when you're one of those really empathic people, it's even harder. Kathy and I don't watch some of the same movies. Sometimes she can't watch what I'm watching because of how she feels things. You know, the invasion of Ukraine has been hard on those people going through it. As we watch them suffer war, people with empathy are also mourning along with them. Each week we're using a clip from a superhero movie to kind of demonstrate the message. And if you're worshiping with us online via Facebook, we can't insert that into the video because it'll get stopped by the algorithm and it'll make the whole message, our whole worship service, not work. But we found that we can post a YouTube clip of it down in the comments. So if you want to pause the video now and watch that clip, it should be down below in the comments, assuming that it works okay that way. I'll give you a minute now to watch our clip from Wonder Woman. Empathy is difficult. When tragedies happen, it can be traumatic for those who witness them or feel them too. But we can't just pretend they don't happen in order to protect ourselves. When we mourn the loss and feel some pain, we are crying along with God. And that is doing the work of Christ. When we participate in this way, it motivates us to do something caring and to keep us grounded. It connects us to those who are suffering, even if we've never met them. Knowing what the people in Ukraine are going through helps remind us how harmful war is. It harms the people in the way, and it harms the people who are asked to carry it out. And when we mourn the loss of someone who's killed because of the color of their skin, it reminds us that acts of racism happen every day and motivates us to try to make peace and treat each other equally. When we mourn the loss of 6 million people to COVID, still losing about as many people each day in the U.S. as we lost on one day in 9/11, we're reminded to be caring to people who have lost a loved one, to do what we can do to prevent spreading it, to protect the vulnerable, and hopefully to deal with the next pandemic better than we did this one. When people have a lot of empathy, it can be very draining. The good news is that Jesus promised that the people who mourn will be comforted. He didn't say exactly how, but based on the other Beatitudes, we can assume that this comfort comes from God. In God, we can find comfort. When our lives on earth are over, we will be made comfortable in heaven. I've wondered if people in heaven continue to worry about what happens here on earth. Do our grandparents, parents, family members, and friends who die before us worry about it when we lose a job or when we are dealing with a medical emergency? I had a good friend who died a while back, and she was a very empathic, caring person. And I know she was worried about her husband even before she got sick, because he has his own health issues, and she was concerned about caring for him. And then very suddenly she got sick and was the first to go. I wonder, does she worry about him? In today's Beatitude, we're told that those who mourn will be comforted. And that's comforting to me when I think about people in heaven. I think those of us who mourn what happens to others, what happens to our world, will be comforted here on earth and in heaven. When I worry about what's happening in the world, I turn to God for comfort. And I think that the reward of heaven will help us to understand more than we understand here. And I think we will still care when we're in heaven, and we will still mourn when we're in heaven. But I think we'll be made so that we can be more able to handle it as we are taken into the power and care of God. I hope that in some way we are a part of the power that helps people who remain on earth. Blessed are those who mourn, and we can be comforted by God when those things happen, when the tragedies happen, and we will be comforted by God in heaven. Amen.
will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
I want to let you know about some opportunities for you to be in ministry, for you to do things to serve God. Coming up next Sunday, the 20th, we are going to be serving a meal for the homeless at the Pillars, and that is nearby here in Appleton. If you'd like to help, we're going to be serving the meal from 4 to 7, and we have somebody from our congregation who's been trained, so he's just going to tell us which dishes to do and how to set things up and how to serve the food. We already have volunteers bringing the food, so we just need some help from 4 to 7, and we'd love to have you come and help participate. Just send a Facebook message if you'd like to sign up, or check on our Facebook page, and there's a sign-up sheet there, and we'll get you down. And we'll also send you more information about how to do it. Another great opportunity coming up. We still have opportunity, we have spaces for our mission trip, and that is April 7th to 9th, so it's a Thursday to Saturday. And we will be going to the Midwest Mission Distribution Center, and they need our help. This center provides all kinds of help in times of need, like tragedies. Last week there was a tornado in Iowa, and they immediately sent goods there to help people with cleaning up the mess. And people who lost their homes were given, toothbrush, toothpaste, shampoo, all the things they need to take care of themselves. Anytime there's a tragedy, anywhere in the world, we send things, and they go from places like this center. So we will be preparing things to get ready for the spring floods. There will be an opportunity for you to do some carpentry if that's what you want to do. There's sewing. There's all kinds of jobs, and you get to choose what you're going to do. And anybody age 11 and older is eligible to participate. So we will be leaving the area here early on Thursday morning and coming home Saturday evening. We stay on real beds in dorms that have showers, and up to 4 people in a room. If you're interested, send a message. We'd love to have you participate. Also, ahead of that, we are going to be collecting liquid dish soap and liquid laundry detergent at our church, and those things go into the flood cleanup buckets. So we already have a little collection started here. If you'd like to donate that, we'd love your help. If you'd like to make a financial donation to help support the mission trip, you can use the QR code at the end or make an electronic gift, and just let us know that it's for the mission trip. You can put that in the memo line or the notes, or you can send a check to the church, and same thing, put on your check that it's for the mission trip. We'd love your support in that. Also coming up, there'll be many more opportunities to give and to help. If you would like more information and you're not on our weekly newsletter list, just send us a Facebook message with your email address. And each week we send out an update by email, and that way, even if you miss worship, or maybe you don't get around to watching the online worship until late in the week, you'll still know what's going on ahead of time, and you'll know in time to participate and join us. Thank you so much for worshiping with us. Thank you for your gifts, and thank you for sharing your time with us. If there's any way that I can help, if I can be in prayer for you, if I can help you out by spending some time in a visit, either in person or by Zoom, I will be happy to do that. Just send a Facebook message, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.